Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the sort of FPL Game Week 37 deadline stream. I hope you're all very well this afternoon. Thanks for joining in early. I'll get onto your questions very shortly. If you're wondering why this isn't such a deadline stream, I have a commitment to my Champman FPL guys, which I certainly would not move away from. And I'll be doing a stream for them from 2:30 until 5 o'clock today. Hence the earlier stream today. Apologies for those that already said 12 o'clock. Wife went for a bit of shopping, so it a bit longer than expected. But here we are, 12:30. We'll be going till 1:30. I will do my very best to cover off as many questions as possible. But at 1:30, I will dead the stream. So if I don't get to you, it'd be better to get your questions in earlier. Try and keep out the repetitive stuff, guys. If you're looking at the graphics, top right-hand corner is my team for the game week. Locked in, I've made one free transfer. You might call it a waste. I've gone Dwight McNeil in place of Adama Traore. I think with Traore starting at wing back on Wednesday, he wouldn't be secure of a start this week. To be honest, I've been quite happy not to do anything at all. And I brought Dwight McNeil in as first sub. Yes, potential temptation to play him, but not over any of the 11 that I've got potentially starting. But he's there ready should any of my 11 pick up injuries over the weekend. As a good little 1 week punt, I will be free hitting in game week 38, hence using the free transfer. If I didn't have the free hit, genuinely, I would have rolled the transfer. Bottom right hand corner, you'll see top captaincy picks. These are my top 10 captaincy picks for the game week in order. To answer the question now in advance, I think the very best captain option this week is Anthony Martial, now level on FPL points with Bruno Fernandes since the return from lockdown. That seems incredibly unlikely based on what we were seeing a couple of weeks ago. He is absolutely on fire. I favour the United guys over the City guys because there's a suggestion as we approach these FA Cup semi-finals that United are more likely to rotate in the semi-final, whereas we know this is a priority for Manchester City. And that's essentially what it comes down to. I'm going to captain Bruno Fernandes. I cannot get to Anthony Martial without taking a -4 that removes big hit in Manchester City assets, or without doing a -8. And I'm just not prepared to do it when I generally quite like what I've got in my team this game week. So if you're asking me Jesus or Sterling for captain this week, I would have a slight preference for Jesus. To answer that in advance, I've had an opinion for a couple of weeks that Jesus may well be left out for Manchester City today. It's just my opinion. I think they're going to try and flush Arsenal out in midfield. I could be completely wrong, particularly as Arsenal changed system against Liverpool in midweek. But as you'll see, there's some names on there like Chris Wood. I think it's a great shout this week. There's a differential, but I would not favour him over those City or United assets. And I would be amazed if you have none of those. I think if you've got none of those top 6, you might be wanting to have a second look at your team, would be what I'd suggest. The one I've left out there is Riyad Mahrez. And I only left him out purely, to be honest, I'd have him 7th, but I just wanted to have a bit more flexibility in terms of the names that I was putting on there rather than just putting all the United and City guys. I would rank Mahrez 7th, really, but I wanted to get Ings, Wood, Aubameyang and Salah on the list so you could see where my preference would be for those, particularly for those who are thinking of a differential captain this week who may be wanting to go and chase mini-league opponents. Right, let's get into the chat. Let's see who's in. Friend of the show, Dylan Farrell. Hi, James. Would you play David Silva, Robertson or TAA? Oh, my God. What sort of a question is that? I mean, I'd play all of them, mate. But in order of preference, TAA, Robertson, David Silva. That's a nightmare, mate. You got Robertson and David Silva on your bench. What sort of team have you got, mate? Nasu, hey, who would you start between Greenwood and Pulisic? I would start Mason Greenwood, mate. That said, I think when I say United will rotate for the semi-final, I think you're looking at a mix and match. So, for example, I wouldn't actually be surprised if Bruno Fernandes plays in the semi-final. He played in the quarter-final against Norwich. I wouldn't be surprised if it's, one of Martial, Rashford, Greenwood. I wouldn't be surprised if it's 2. I wouldn't be surprised if it's all 3, to be very honest with you. But I'd go Greenwood, mate. I know people are a bit frustrated with what Liverpool are doing at the moment, but I just think they're going to be mass motivated for Wednesday. I think they'll be so up for it. Dylan's going back to his original question. Sorry, which one of those would you bench? Leaning towards David. Yeah, I probably would bench David Silva from that. I just can't be leaving Robertson and TAA out of the team if I own them personally. Rob Pick, hi mate, good luck. I haven't had a -4 that you've liked yet, but let's try again. Going with David De Gea and Pulisic to Pope and Martial. Faults, yeah, get it done, Rob. That's sweet as a nut, mate. Get that one done would be my advice on that. Daniel McAdams, 1 week punt and limited funds. Will free hit next week. Can be attacker or midfielder. Sterling, Salah, Silva, or Aubameyang. I have 3 Man United players already. Okay, so we can rule them out. I would have it's tough really because of the semi-finals makes this decision very tough. If the semi-finals weren't a factor in what we're talking about here, then my advice definitely, therefore, would have been one of the City guys and Raheem Sterling. If it's 1 week, you get the same problem with Aubameyang as well. I tell you what, I would probably go Salah, actually, from that list to actually buy a player this week. That's probably where I'd be at. Do you know what? It's a bottle job decision. It would be out of fear of what's happening with the semi-finals. I've seen a few thinking, well, Mo Salah's still due for that rest. We're going to rest him when he's had a 7-day break. Well, what's the fucking point in that? So I think Salah, the upside of Sterling, I think is best there. Villa's going to become a more difficult game for Aubameyang now because of the importance of them. Villa have a goal difference which is probably not catchable to Watford. I mean, it's going to be a little bit more of a difficult game. But should Arsenal get 1 or 2 early, their heads could completely drop and they might save legs for the final game against West Ham, which, mind you, with that in mind, they can't afford to lose. They're basically down if they lose. So Salah, probably from that list. Ryan Henderson says, hi, James. Who would you bench out of Bolly, Maguire, Stevens and TAA playing 3 at the back? Oh, my God. It's another brutal one because Wolves and Sheffield United have great fixtures. I wouldn't leave out TAA or Maguire. I'd be tempted to leave out Willy Bolly, actually. That's a brutal, brutal decision. Brutal. Actually, nah, scrap that. I'd leave out Stevens. It's really, really tough one, though, mate. I feel your pain there. Danny Cunningham, hi, James. Hope you're well, mate. Good, thank you. With a 50-point lead in my most important mini-league, but 20 points off top in my other, is Chris Wood captain a good shout or keep it safe and go Bruno captain? Yeah, I'm going safe there. I think Danny is your shout, mate. Ishan Gosh this afternoon. Davo, with all the uncertainty with Man City United assets, is Salah a captaincy option this week? Yeah, he absolutely is. If anybody really feels that way, it's fine. The fact that he's 10th on my list, I just think there's better options, and he's probably influenced by the fact that I'm behind in my mini league to Suj and want to catch him. So I'm a bit more influenced in terms of the idea of going for it. Can Salah do bits in the week? Yeah, I think absolutely. Absolutely, you can. And you know, many of you will know I'm not a huge fan of owning him. He's almost definitely going to be my free hit for game week 38, I'd say, Mo Salah. And he might even be my captain for that, which I like the idea of because I'll be watching Tottenham, so I won't have to watch him do things that really frustrate the fuck out of me. Ash says, Giroud to Mulpay or Wood, or bench Giroud and do Taylor to Peters and play him. I'm very tempted to do the -4 for both, mate. Genuinely. Depends what you've got defensively and that and what your potential bench options are, but I'd be tempted to do the -4 for both Burnley guys. Very tempted. I mean, you have to get the clean sheet there from Burnley for it to be worth it. And you could argue it's probably a flat 6-pointer and therefore you'd get 2 points off someone else. All right, let's go safe with this. I would definitely go for Chris Wood. I wouldn't go for Mulpay. I think Brighton are pretty much a stick-on to beat Newcastle on Monday, what I saw on Wednesday, and with Newcastle's injury problems. But good luck guessing that Brighton team's what I always say. So Chris Wood absolutely would be the choice there for me, Ash. Sonny says, hi, mate, considering a -4, Maguire to Saiss/Long and Pulisic to Marshall, captain. Good luck for the game week. Good luck to you, Sonny. Looks like you've worked out what you're doing. That's fine. Adam English, morning, James and lads. Did you see the clip of Mourinho telling the Spurs lads not to be C's? The Amazon doc is going to be horrible. Yes, it is. I have seen that clip. It's funny as fuck, actually. I don't mind that. Perlo's pen. Hi, James. I do mind the Amazon video, but that's a story for another time. Big fuck up from Spurs. Isha Gosh. Hey, James. Which of these would you recommend? Mulpay to Wood, Aspie or Tarkovsky, both or neither? Nearly every one of these that asked me for Chris Wood is going to get a big thumbs up. Big thumbs up. I'd highlighted it, I think, either probably prior to Burnley winning at West Ham. In fact, no, I think what game did they have? Yeah, prior to West Ham, when me and Suj talked about it, and I said, look, he's fit and he won't change the team while he's got a winning team, but Liverpool's likely to be the game where they stop winning, and then I think you'll see Wood back in from there. And here we are with doubts over Jay Rodriguez fitness, full 8 days off afterwards. Chris Wood's going to want to play. Scored twice against Norwich in the reverse fixture as well. I think they have huge problems to aerial balls into the box. You see that with Giroud's goal on Tuesday. Some of the Antonio goals last week. Can't defend crosses. So yeah, really, really like Chris Wood as an option. Just doesn't work out for me. There's no right way of doing it for me with what I've got with my squad, basically. So I mean, I could go Jesus to Wood, Maguire to Peters or Phil Bardsley, and then I can get Martial in for a -8. That's what I'm talking about. That's what it basically takes me to get there, and I don't really fancy that because I think if my theory about Jesus is right, I think he'll go off in the week. FPL Iron saying afternoon, Jonathan Nagy afternoon, James Jimenez to Ings worth it for a -4. No, but Jimenez is a danger because of the baby situation, and it's due basically any time. We wish Mr. and Mrs. Jimenez well, but you might just see the team on Monday and Jimenez is not in it. So Jimenez is an absolute not buy, but I think with that fixture, I'd want to keep hold of him. I wouldn't want to sell him. John, I think I'd keep Jimenez, you know. I think I'd keep him. You can't predict outside things from outside football. I do know that if you get to Monday and Jimenez is playing, you'll probably already be regretting it. That's where I'd be at. Ricky Saunders, morning pal. Jiraj Bandiv, James, hello mate. Perlas Ben play Pulisic or Foden this week. That's a tougher call. I would probably... I'm not as big on Foden as the FPL option as a lot of other people have been. You know what I think of him as a footballer. An amazing talent. Get him straight in the England team. I think he's first choice for them now. I think the fact that he's first choice means that I think he probably plays today. I'd probably lean into Pulisic there, actually. You won't hear me say that many times today, I don't think. Georgie Juric, hi James. Greeting from Serbia. Hello, I'm settled down with Salah captain this game week and I'm very confident about him. I have just one dilemma. Who to start, Nketiah or Greenwood? Your thoughts? Nketiah, I'm almost certain will play for Arsenal at Villa. And I'd be tempted to do that if he's still been sitting in your team for the last few weeks. I'd possibly go Nketiah, you know. Rory Scott, all right, mate. Think Goodmanson will start. If so, do you think he's a big goal threat? And McNeil, I mentioned this in one of the pods earlier this week. In fact, I think it might have even been the stream I did on Tuesday about Goodmanson for this game week, about being a mad differential pick. I think he starts. I think the natural, what you'll see with Burnley this evening is exactly what happened with the substitution against Wolves on Wednesday. Peters, who's been playing ridiculous out of position on right midfield because they're so short of bodies, will go back to left back with Taylor ruled out and just naturally Goodmanson slots in. I would be very surprised if the Burnley team is anything different to that. One change, Goodmanson in for Taylor, Peters at left back, Goodmanson on the right. Is he a better goal scoring threat than McNeil? Yes, he might be. One of the reasons I've gone for McNeil over Goodmanson, and I did think about this, was I'll get the 90 out of him. And it might be what I need from a playing substitute if I've got any issues for the guys up here. So that's why I've gone with McNeil. But I absolutely don't mind if anyone else wants to go for Goodmanson as a differential this week. I think that's a brilliant little shout if you're trying to... But McNeil's a differential as well. In terms of generally speaking, Goodmanson for me, slightly bigger goal scoring output potential at the moment. Possibly, I mean, they could both be on the set pieces as well. I genuinely don't know the answer to that. If there's any Burnley guys in, hit us up in terms of who you think would take the corners for Burnley today if they both play. Peters is also an option to take them, all left footers. But I really, really don't mind Goodmanson as a differential shout at all. Paul Meehan, morning chat, still bleary. This freaked me right out as I thought I'd missed the deadline. Sorry, Paul. No, you've still got hours, guys. I'm doing it earlier today because I'm committed to my Championship Manager stream from 2:30 to 5 o'clock today. Next Sunday, my intention with a 2 o'clock deadline is to do an hour and a half for you, starting at the same time, 12:30, all the way up till 2 o'clock. And to be honest, once I've got the team news, I'll probably go on longer. So it may even turn out that this will be a 2-hour stream next week where I'll look through the team news and give you some analysis of that once I've seen it as well. Rory Scott, all right, mate, we've done that one. Atul Balaji, apologies if this is repetitive. Foden or Greenwood, that you are stumped. I would go Greenwood from those two. Blair H, hi James, Foden or Eddie Nketiah? Go Nketiah, mate. Shamil Galani, hey pal, not tempted to start McNeil over Greenwood. I've kind of just explained that. Karthik, KDB to Martial for a -4. No, no, not for me. Can't be getting rid of them powerful City guys, in my opinion. You're potentially going to want that back for the Sunday. Say that he doesn't play, you're definitely going to want him back for the Sundays. But if you've got a free hit and you believe KDB doesn't play on Tuesday, then that's the situation where I think it probably becomes worth it. But no, not for me. D-Raj, Pandy, downgrade Dean to Tarkovsky or upgrade Lascelles to Long. Lascelles to Long, like that as a move, yeah. And then you've still got Luca Dean if you want to use him for the Bournemouth fixture last game week. I like that as a move. Avi, hi James. CM questions too, right? I'm not going to do them at the moment, Avi. I'm afraid I really want to get into the FPL guys. But no, I'm not overly keen on it. Notorious Nerd, do I keep Foden? Would he start this game week? $1 million question, mate. I haven't got a clue. Put all your Man City players in a hat and pick them out of a hat. As I've said, the reason I favour Gabriel Jesus is I've had a suspicion for a few weeks that Jesus won't play against Arsenal today. That's why I favour him over a De Bruyne or Sterling if you want a Manchester City captaincy. I could be completely wrong. Guessing Guardiola is a foolish game, but I'll get asked, so I've tried to do it. Switchbone, cheers James. Do you think City needs to do rotation after Arsenal game when they're 5 days rest after Watford? Your thoughts? No, not massively, just depends on the condition of the players after the game today, right? So if they end up going to extra time, you might have guys to play 120 minutes, in which case, yeah, that would be sensible for them not to start against Watford. Guessing who those guys will play 120 minutes will be, your guess is as good as mine. I suspect KDB would be one of them if it goes to the end. It could flip though. City could be 3-0 up in an hour and he takes them all off and then there's no problem. Could go either way, right? They won't take any chances on that game today. Genuinely, they will be right up for it, in my opinion. Emerald Pilot, good afternoon, James. I have Son and Pulisic. Do you think it's worth to transfer out Son Greenwood to Martial and Wood for a -4 hit? I quite like that one. Yeah, I quite like that one, mate. Notorious Nerd, we're not doing captain, mate. Yeah, my preference is on the screen. Eric Fordham, hey James, I'm bench boosting this week. I'm definitely bringing a midfielder and a defender from Burnley, but I have Button as my goalkeeper on the bench. Would you take a -4 to get a playing goalkeeper in? Yes, I would. For a bench boost, yes. You'll just feel better looking at your team as well. The two would recommend would be the two that are actually in my squad at the moment, Pope and Martinez for the 1 weeks. Are very good shouts. I don't think you'd look far beyond that. Dean Henderson, maybe if you've got loads of cash flying about. Ricky Saunders, hello pal. I'm taking as many hits this week as I've taken all season. My goodness, good luck, mate. Holgate, Wan-Bissaka and Mahrez out. Bolly, Doherty and Martial in. Fuck me, you are going for it, mate. Good luck. Good luck, mate. If Wolves concede, I'm cattled. You're not wrong, mate. Palace have actually looked better offensively recently in the United and the Chelsea games, but Wolves are generally a little bit of a different beast. Big important game for Wolves Monday as well, because they'll want to have that European spot sealed before they play Chelsea final day, you think. And then the idea of giving the players a little bit of a rest, note that potentially for next week, before they play Olympiacos in the Europa League. Admittedly, they'll have a 2-week break, won't they? So, yeah, actually, there's probably not the necessity to give them a break. But I wouldn't want Wolves' assets for that Chelsea game. I think there could be rotation if they're already qualified for Europe. You might well see like Vinagre play and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't hate you actually, Ricky. I wish you well, my friend. Notorious Nerd, do you think Lamptey will start? God knows. Probably. This is the problem with Brighton assets. There's also why he's sitting third on my bench. Optimus Prime. Hey bosses, Optimus Prime in the house. How are you? I am in overall rank 40,000. One last push for top K. Have free hit game week 38. Good luck. Paul H. Hi James. Best option of Vardy, Kane, Aubameyang or Jesus to buy this week? Is that the question? Or I presume this isn't a benching headache. All right, let's buy one. I would buy Jesus because I think he will at least play one of the 2 games unless there's an injury involved, and I think he'll go off in one of them. I think if he doesn't play against Watford, you could lock him in as my game week 38 captain on Tuesday night. Be fairly certain of that. So I'd go Jesus. I think there's a good upside on that. I would then favour Aubameyang from that list, not Vardy or Kane, mate. Hi James, says TJ Dara. Love the streams. Is it worth making transfers when I'm free hitting game week 38 anyway? Yeah, I mean, of course. Do you want to make your team better for this game week? If you can, do it. Matt Clark, hope you're good, James. Had my thoughts on Antonio to Salah, 1 free transfer, but somehow still have Foster in my team. Should I just take the -4 to get him out? Looking to hold rank at 5k. See, the difficulty with goalkeepers when they play Cities or Uniteds or Liverpools are, you've seen this with sort of Pope against Liverpool, even like Martinez against Liverpool and Tottenham. They're probably bad examples. These guys can pick up 3-4 pointers, right? And Watford are going to want to keep the score low against City on Tuesday because goal difference could well come into play. My instinct would be to pull the trigger on a -4 because you won't want Foster in game week 38 either. And I think that's the tipping point that would make you want to do it. I like the Antonio Salah 1 free transfer. I'm guessing Foster and Pope at similar transfers. If you can get them both done, I'd lean that way. I think what you're looking there, and just think about it. Do you say you got free hit as well? You haven't said or not. I'm going to assume you haven't. In which case, if you haven't, I would do it and look at it as the 2 game weeks over the goalkeepers and think you're likely to get that game back on going Pope over Foster. And that's what I would advise. Jay Barker, afternoon, James. Would you bring Tarkovsky or Wood? Bearing in mind I'm sitting at 70k and don't own Poop. Poop the Pope. Yeah. Good transfers this week. Absolutely fine. If you've got the extra to pay Tarkovsky, and this is the sort of time of season where your value really might not matter as much, then yes, I would advise going Tarkovsky over Peters or Bardsley. If you're short on it budget-wise, and you haven't got the free hit, I would just lean into Bardsley over Peters, just in case Taylor's back for game week 38. If you've got the free hit, I would lean for Peters this game week, if that makes sense. But if there's money, no object, go Tarkovsky. A little bit like what I said, the threat on the set piece as well could cause some damage. Dylan Farrell, thanks for answering, James. Best of luck this game. Enjoy your weekend, pal. You too, mate. B. Conway, start Foden or Armstrong. That's a tough one. Really like Armstrong at Southampton. Think he's going to be a very good asset next season. I think he's a good differential punt for these last 2 game weeks, particularly this game week, should anybody be free hitting this game week, although I would prefer to pay the extra for Redmond right now. That might not be the case next season. I think I would start Foden, though. Upside much bigger. Ronan Megan, when should you activate a game week 38 free hit? Well, I'll be activating mine this evening. If you know you're going to use it, play the market. The chance of you making any difference with it, 0.1. If there's players there you think you want to get and they're likely to go up 0.2 between now and next game week, get them in. Just be cautious of the guys that you're removing your squad if you've got value up on them. But yeah, essentially it's blank canvas for me. So if you take my free hit for next game week, to move the money about, I will immediately remove Andrew Robertson from my squad tonight, even if I decide I want him back in that free hit. Unlikely to gain any value. The fact that he's quite a pricey defender means I can play around with potentially getting a few guys in that might jump. So yeah, I'll be activating tonight. I haven't properly played with the idea of what that free hit 38 team will look like, and that's very much dependent on what happens between me and Suj in our mini league battle between now and Wednesday evening. And it's not until then I will know what I'm doing. So podcast Thursday, I might give something away, but I also might not. It became a bit of a poker game in the first 20 minutes of yesterday's podcast with Suj. because I've got about a 15, 17 point deficit to make up essentially. And if that's extended over this game week, I am probably looking to get a free hit team of players that is completely different to what he has. Jay Barker or Ings instead of Wood. I can't remember what the first one was, Jay. Sorry, it's too far apart. But I really like Chris Wood this game week. Really, really do. I'd prefer Ings as a captaincy option, but I think if I was buying for the 2 game weeks, bearing in mind Ings finishes with Sheffield United, I would go Wood if I was buying one of the 2. Lee Jackson, morning boss. What are you listening to in your headphones, or is it Suj in your ear 10? You what answers to give? Yes, it's Suj. I've got a link in to all the great content creators. I've got like Andy, Let's Talk FPL on this side. I've got FPL Dave, another great streamer on this side. No, one, I'm not going to fucking lie to you, right? I'm better looking with it on. That's the main reason. And 2, it actually does cancel out outside noise a little bit, very minimally for you guys. So I wouldn't make a difference to your sound whether I wore them or not, but actually having it plugged in should make the sound slightly better for you guys. Antonio Gitto, who would be your top 3 must-haves for game week 38 if you exclude City from your choices? Bloody hell, tough. Because the top 3 are City choices. Must have a no one. We must say that. First that springs to mind is Aubameyang against the Watford side that might at various points of that game have to attack, and Arsenal may be looking to qualify for Europe themselves. That's the first name that springs to mind. It's so dependent on what happens in games this week to what my opinion on that's going to be for next week. But the first name that springs to mind would be Aubameyang. Who do Norwich play? Oh yeah, City. T-Tac, which games do you think would go extra time more likely? Well, United and Chelsea. I can't look beyond City. It's not that Arsenal can't beat them. I think they might surprise in terms of their tactical setup today. Arteta's obviously going to know Guardiola and they're set up very well, but if City are at 100% and Guardiola spoke for weeks about the importance of this game, I can't see beyond them winning, to be honest. Stuart Bell, all right, mate. Would you start Saka or Mahrez? Normally would go Mahrez all day, but just got a feeling Saka will bang. If you've got a feeling that Saka will bang, Stuart, get it done. But the same applies to Saka as might apply to Mahrez. And I think you might find that Saka could be an important cog into that semi-final today in terms of the fact that he can change positions mid-game. So it would definitely be Mahrez for me, not a hesitation. Ollie Venesorin, hi, why it's not Salah mentioned as big captain this week? Chelsea FA Cup fatigue, Salah with energy. You can go for it, mate. I have no problem. If anybody thinks they want to captain Mohamed Salah or Sadio Mane this game week, I have absolutely no problem with that. I do expect them to beat Chelsea on Wednesday night. Optimus says, I don't know if you believe that, but I have the money in the bank, 7 million spring Alba for Conley and play formation 3-4-3, but I'm going to go Fernandes captain safe. What is your opinions? You've already said what you're going to do, Optimus, and I don't want to say anything that might change it if you're clear of what you're doing. Ronan says, has Suj announced his team or captain? James versus Suj. Suj will, I think, if he sees this stream or sees my tweet, I think he will captain Bruno Fernandes. If he doesn't, then I think he would captain Anthony Martial. If anyone wants to notify him of what I'm doing, feel free. He doesn't scare me, the bastard. D-Raj Pandiv, James, Foden, keep or sell? Keep. I mean, what are you selling for? What are you selling to? Have you got a plan to then get a different third Manchester City player in? They've got Watford and Norwich left. I keep a little bit more faith in the guy. I've no idea if he's going to play or not play. Notorious Nerd, will Charlie Taylor be back for game week 38? I don't know. I don't have insight to Bernie's physio room, department, doctors, whatever. But he's only been ruled out for the 1 game week, so I guess that's a possibility. However, should they win today and he is back, don't be surprised if Peter still starts at left back next week. Dyche doesn't like to change it. Lamichi, DCL to Wood and bench Greenwood, or start Greenwood and roll transfer. I'd be tempted to do that, Lamichi, actually. Be tempted to do that. Yeah. Upside of Wood's great this week. There's going to be a surge of transfers for him in the next few hours. I'm fairly certain of that. Edwin Grand, hello James. I had 2 free transfers this game week and free hit as well. Might as well use both. Yeah, absolutely, mate. That's brilliant. I'd even look up making free transfers for -4, but you can get close to what you really favour. So yeah, go with something you feel good about, mate. Karim says, hi James, I have a question. Is Laporte to Burnley defender worth a hit? Laporte will miss one of the last 2 game weeks, I think. Yeah, I've had an opinion that Laporte's playing weekend games at the moment and not midweeks. So, yes, and I think that will be worth it. You're right. Even if it's the other way round, I think Laporte probably doesn't. Laporte's definitely going to play today. Is he going to play all 3 games? I'd be very surprised. So, yeah, I don't mind that. Although the game that he does play in, it's almost a lock for a clean sheet, probably. Bilal says, hi James, hope you and the family are well. I have 2.8 million in the bank, getting rid of Pulisic for a punt for game week 37 only. Thoughts? Yeah, I would. If I had Pulisic in that squad of mine at the moment, I'd be selling him for like a Dwight McNeil or someone that value. Or I like the upside of Nathan Redmond this week as a possibility. I'd be looking at those sort of moves. Yeah, I'd get it done. I'd genuinely get it done. Again, especially if you haven't got the free hit. That game week 38 fixture for Chelsea against Wolves could be a disaster. Karthik says, bench Foden or TAA? You will never get me say bench TAA, mate. Mikey2908, bench Greenwood or Antonio. Already got Martial and Fernandes. Also got 3 times 6. So slightly worried about if 2 teams don't perform, my game week is done for. Loving the pods. No, you go with Greenwood, mate. Play Greenwood. As Bilal says underneath. Ash88 Gloss. I have Azpilicueta and Alonso, which need to go. And also 3 United players. Worth switching Greenwood to Ings and getting in Wan-Bissaka. Also have Jimenez, which is a bit of a lottery. And Jesus, who is staying. I would not make the Greenwood Wan-Bissaka. I would genuinely just go to Burnley defensively. Optimus says, Bournemouth is on amazing form. Really, I see Southampton and try to win Everton. They're terrible. No Bournemouth assets that I trust. You have opinion on Bournemouth assets? Yeah, avoid, but wouldn't be surprised that if surprisingly they perform quite well over the next 2 game weeks. But I would not be buying any Bournemouth assets. I think their combined ownership in the top 10k is 0%. So, I mean, great differential, right? But where do you start? If I was buying a Bournemouth player, this is how ridiculous this will make you decide not to do it. If I was buying a Bournemouth player now for the last 2 game weeks, I'd buy Solanke. There you go. You're not doing it. Danny McDonald, interesting that you're starting Maguire over McNeil. West Ham scored 7 in their last 2, and United haven't looked watertight at the back. Yeah, I can completely understand what you're saying there, Danny. For me, I'm looking at it as United will do the business on Wednesday. It's too important for them. And I don't have a huge amount of faith in McNeil or Goodmanson returning today, actually. I think Maguire probably looks like a flat clean sheet to me. If you ask me to predict it now, I would predict Maguire would get 6 points and McNeil could end up with a 5. So it's really close. And I know what you're saying. There's also the aspect for myself going against Suj that he doesn't have United defensive, and I went that way a while ago, and you know what happens the second I change it. That he scores from a set piece and it's a 15-pointer. Greater upside this game, it's probably with Maguire. That's why I've made that decision. Shirishi Puri, who's the triple captain? Oh, if you've got Anthony Martial, there's your man. Club Pilot, hi James, what's your take on playing Saka ahead of Greenwood with Arsenal playing Villa away and Man United playing West Ham at home? I'm going to lean to Greenwood there, mate. It's fairly obvious. Look at my team, mate. T-Tac, thoughts on Goodmanson? Yeah, I've covered that one. Just switch back about 10 minutes or so. Gary Robinson James, I've Captain Kane, laughing face. Nutter. Ben Kemish, hi James, what do you think of Greenwood and Pulisic to Ings and a 5.7 midfielder who I would bench for a -4? Nah, don't like that, mate. Sharish, and this goes for everybody else, you do not need to ask questions twice. I'm going to cut this stream at 1:30. You are now at risk if you ask a question that I may not get to cover it. I'm going to start powering through these a little bit quicker. FPL Sponge says, afternoon James, are you afraid of not only Martial and thoughts on Greenwood for final 2 games? I wouldn't say afraid. I don't give a shit enough about the game for it to be giving me sleepless nights or feel afraid. But yes, I wish I owned Anthony Martial this game week. I think that's fairly clear. But I cannot, and I've looked at all permutations of -4s and -8s to get there, or even moving directly from Bruno Fernandes to get him. And I don't think any of them are worth it. Pep Talk, afternoon, James. Just joined the chat. If I downgraded Giroud and Van Dijk today for Wood and Long -4, I would be able to upgrade Foden and Pulisic in game week 38 to Salah and David Silva -4. Thoughts? Yeah, don't mind that at all, mate. If you like it, do it. Azzy, do you see a return for McNeil? Probably not. In a roundabouts way. Probably not. Just looking at his returns, he's not got that. That's what he needs to add to his game now, is the attacking returns. They're just not quite there yet. Little things like the big miss against Sheffield United at 1-0. He has to score in that position. Really like him as a player. Wouldn't mind having him down at Spurs at all, actually. Really like him. Don't think he'll be at Burnley for more than the next season, but you should definitely give them another season at least. But my instinct's probably no, and that's why I'm going with Maguire. And the reason I went McNeil in for Traore is just the absolute security that that guy is definitely going to start. There isn't a doubt about it. He's as close to 100% as you could have for a first sub. And is he capable? Yes. If Andy at Let's Talk happens to be in the chat or watches this before deadline, he has to play him this week. And you should go and tell him as much. JC, hi James, Giroud to Ings for a hit. Probably yes. Probably yes. That Dan Ings will have to score for you. Probably yes. Nosbit, my game week dilemma is Alonso to Doherty or Giroud to Wood. Any advice? Yeah, both of them. JC, captain KDB or Martial or Bruno. Come on, man. Look at the screen, please. I do like what you say, though, Jay, in terms of vice-captain locked on Ings. That's what I've got. I think players like Ings, Wood, Doherty, really good vice-captain options this game week, just in case your man picks up an injury and misses the game week. It's not a good week to captain and vice-captain two players from the same team. The chance of them both missing out, if you've got, say, Fernandes and Martial, extremely unlikely, but I just think the little safe play of just stick your vice captain on someone who you know is going to play in the next 3 days. That would be my advice. Clayton Fernandes, hiya mate, what do you think about Maguire and Pulisic to Thomas and Martial captain for a -4? I'm not so big on that. I presume you're not going to play Thomas either, would be my guess in terms of moving that about. I'm not so big on that. But if it really helps you with a captaincy issue or something, and you've got no faith in United defensively, you don't expect anything from Chelsea over the next 2 game weeks. I don't hate it. I wouldn't say no, you definitely don't do that, and I'm very rare I'm going to say that for anybody, but I don't love that actually. Jacob NH, hi James, planning to free hit 38. So for 1 week, would you move Foden to Armstrong or Foster to Martinez, Ryan, McCarthy? I would move Foster, and to give you the name, I would go for Martinez. Pete Haley, hi James, I've got 8 million for 1 week punt in defence. You don't need that much, mate, as I have free hit for next week. I already have 3 from the Manchester teams. Not sure if Robbo is best or Burnley. Sheffield-based fixture. I presume then, Pete, you've already got Trent. I'd go Robbo. This guys are fucking consistent. I really don't care. I really don't care what other people think. They are the most consistent and the most likely to get attacking returns. And clean sheet wise, I'll take that bit as a bonus. And I wouldn't be surprised if TAA hits a double point haul this game week, personally. Jacob NH, after we've just done that one, Notorious Nerd, ranking order of preference, Jesus, Mahrez, David Silva. Mahrez before David Silva. Don't. The rest of the screen, please, Notorious Nerd. Stephen Kelly sat at 30k overall and have done Pulisic Pepe this week. Wow. Probably madness, but I imagine he won't get a lot of minutes versus City and he has tasty fixtures. I like the theory on that, actually, Stephen. I like the theory on that. I think that's all right. You might be onto something there. That's not to advise other people to buy Nicolas Pepe. But I just like the theory there of what you're saying in terms of lack of trust for Pepe defensively against Manchester City. Like that. But they might try and use him as a split forward if they line up that way as best to counter attack on Manchester City. We unfortunately will obviously not know until the season. Azzy, Trossard and McNeil, that's easy. You asked me a Brighton player, I'm going to choose the other one because, yeah, what's Trossard going to play on Monday? Is he going to play? Is he not going to play? I've no clue. McNeil, safe as. Jenny White, Wood captain today, being brave with this one. Good luck. Bilal, do you think Vardy could score this weekend against Spurs? I could bring in Auba for a hit. Do I think Vardy could score? I mean, it's not really a question, is it, Bilal? Of course he can score. He's the most likely in the Leicester team to do so. Carl Winfield, bench one of Nketiah, Foden or Dwight Gale. Dwight Gale, mate. Hector Palmer, hi James, hope you're well. Is it mental to consider selling, benching Foden? Nothing is mental. Don't expect him to start in the FA Cup. Also thoughts on J-Rod versus Morpay. J-Rod versus Morpay is difficult because I know Rodriguez is available, but what kind of available is it? So those two I would avoid. If you can go Chris Wood, great. If you think Foden doesn't start tonight, then I mean, if you don't expect him to start in the FA Cup, I'm sure he does play on Tuesday, right? I'm not sure that makes sense. If you think he's definitely going to play today and won't play Tuesday, you might want to consider it. But then where are you at for game week 38 as well? What's the chance of any of these Man City guys not starting one of those two games against Watford Norwich? They're all going to get rotated. Just leave it. Notorious Nerd, irrespective of what happens this game week, would you take a hit to bring in Salah Mane versus Newcastle in game week 38? No. Chris tells, hello mate, hi James, considering doing a -8 of Leno, he's been hanging out around for a while, Brandon Williams, Mahrez, to Martinez, Tarkowski, Martial, captain. Well, it's the wrong week to get rid of Brandon Williams, possibly. Brandon Williams didn't play on Thursday because of an eye injury. He picked up that heavy collision towards the end of the Southampton game. It looks like he probably will play against Chelsea on Sunday. And whether he plays against West Ham, I presume, is completely dependent on if Luke Shaw is back or not. Chris, do you know what? It's the end of the season. Do it, mate. Matt Clark, no free hit, mate. I can't remember it, Matt. It's long gone. FPL Cosmos is Wood for a hit. Madness. Would have to sacrifice one of Salah or David Silva in 38 if I get Wood. Nah, I wouldn't do it. Wood today is probably a scorer of 1 goal. Azzy, Pope needs a clean today. Golden Glove time. Frodo afternoon, James. Who to play? Greenwood or Foden? I go Greenwood. Frodo, and good luck to all, of course. Yeah. Azzy, have FPL majorly underpriced Souček? Possibly. But they probably won't next season. Doesn't matter now, does it? Gary Shepherd, Greenwood flagged to 75% on FPL and Taylor not flagged at all. Do you think Greenwood plays? I'm not aware of Greenwood having any reaction to the Crystal Palace game at all. I'm not aware of anything. If he has, I've missed that. I'm not aware of any issue, and Charlie Taylor has been ruled out. So, I mean, look, trust the FPL site. Is that what you're trusting your FPL decisions on? No, follow your guys like Ben Dinnery for your proper information. G. Evans, hey, I've had Laporte in for 4 weeks now and he's regularly rotated. Laporte to Tarkowski. Yeah, like that. Pupula, Mayoa, -8 for Sterling, Jesus, Tarkowski and Beasley. I presume that's meant to be Bardsley. It's big, isn't it? But it's proper big. Yeah, do it. Tommy Tom, which two to bench? Alonso, definitely him. Foden, Greenwood, Giroud. Yeah, bench Giroud as well. Sod it. I'm not big on Chelsea assets for playing Liverpool on Wednesday, in my opinion. If the other guys didn't have the cup semi-final, this would be a very straightforward choice, wouldn't it? Greenwood, I would be confident plays against West Ham on Wednesday. Foden, less so on the Tuesday. But he can still do damage in half hour. I don't think the Chelsea guys will do any damage on Wednesday. T-Tat, afternoon guys, would you swap Vardy for Ings? If it's a 1-free transfer and also you need it for game week 38, then yes. Ollie says, Salah best captain, in my opinion. Chelsea fatigue. Salah rested and have underperformed. Big explode this game week. Chelsea's defence is crap. United assets look a bit fatigued now. How will United line up tomorrow? We think United will rotate. If you think Salah's the best option, you should captain him. You shouldn't captain the player that I think is the best option. You should always captain the player you think is the best option. Karthik says, should I ever sell Salah or KDB for Martial because there is no other way to get him in? I wouldn't sell either of those two, I don't think. Paul Sweeney, hi James, such a crucial part of the season. Company 20k after slipping from lockdown. Lift, play Foden or Greenwood. This one's getting a bit repetitive now. Pete Haley, West Ham got them 3 goals. James, maybe you should smoke the wacky backy. Okay, mate. I shall. I will try and cut a nice little intro into Monday's podcast. Wasn't 3-0 though, was it? If he'd have said 3-1, I wouldn't have said anything. I'd have gone, oh, wow, you're confident. 3-0. That's why I was like, yeah, what, smoke the wacky backy. He actually had the confidence to believe that West Ham were going to keep a clean sheet. That was the biggest thing of all. But yeah, I'll cut something cute into the intro because, as you know, we don't mind taking the piss out of ourselves when we get it wrong. DJ Music Ace, hello, James. Giroud and Greenwood to Rashford and Wood. Yeah, quite like that. Sammy Anglad, Sheffield or Burnley defence for 37 and 38. That's a tough call, actually. Probably just about leaning to Burnley because of the potential Pope to hit the Golden Glove. Just about. Scott Speed 1000. Who's more likely to be rested versus Chelsea out of Bruno, Tony, Rashford? None of them. This is my opinion. I think they'll all start. If one was actually to get a rest, I don't know. I think they'll all play. Desmond Ong, should I do Nketiah to Wood for -4 hit? No, I think Nketiah will play Tuesday. I think if you've sat through on it, I think that's a decent hold for this game week. Eric Fordham, thanks for answering, James. Sorry to ask another, but the Burnley midfield I was thinking of bringing in was Westwood, as I thought he was on most corners and set pieces. Is that not the case? No, that's very true, actually, because I asked someone to mention about set pieces. Yeah, I mean, they normally take in-swingers. So you're right. So from Burnley's left wing, Westwood normally takes them. From the right wing, it will probably be a left footer. That's what they normally do. They're always in-swinging corners, Burnley. So Westwood should take half of them in theory. But I think there's a greater upside on Goodmanson or McNeil this week, personally. Chris Ewers, hi James. Who to bench from TAA, Saïs, Basham, Bardsley? Yikes. And got Pope in goal. I think I'd bench Basham. Shit as Everton are, the front two are capable. I think I'd bench Basham. Chirag says, bench Pulisic or TAA? Not a question I'm prepared to answer, mate. Bilal says, you know Burnley are going to lose 1-0 with everyone piling up on Burnley players. Yeah, of course, Burnley, Bilal, of course. I think we all know that, don't we? That Norwich actually win 1-0 this evening. Manahar, hi James, I have Aurier, and if he doesn't play this week, then I don't have a bench player. So do you think it is worth to change him for a Burnley defender for -4? Well, then can't you change one of your other bench players? Genuinely. Can you not change one of the other ones? How have you just sacked it with 3.9s and stuff? So, I mean, look at that first. If you can't, then yeah, I would probably do it. But then that's personal because I've got bias against having Spurs assets. So you shouldn't necessarily ask me that opinion. Rory Scott, I know it's brutal, but start Dean or Justin. Not brutal. Upside of Luca Dean is bigger. Alexander Barker, hi James, only just come online, so sorry if you've covered this. Do you think David Silva starts the final 2 league games for City? No, don't think anybody will start the final 2 league games for Manchester City. David McCauley, hi mate, would you start St. Maximin or Foden? St. Maximin's a big doubt, isn't he? He impressed me so much Wednesday. I highly recommend listening to what I said on my coverage of Newcastle Tottenham on yesterday's Planet FPL podcast, Series 3, Episode 57. But I'd go Foden, I think. Yeah. Toshi Jameer, Antonio hold or sell? Yeah, good time to bin, I think. TJ Dara, hi James. Who's been the biggest surprise, good and bad, in FPL this year for you? Probably Anthony Martial over the last 6 weeks or so, that he looked so happy. Biggest surprise, good and bad. Biggest surprise is that one of the Chelsea assets didn't really break out a lot earlier. I think we can see Pulisic is probably the best shout now. But I think I really thought that by Christmas we would know which one to go and get or which two, and it just never ever became obvious what to do with it. It was a small period with Pulisic, and he let everyone down around about November time. So that's actually probably the biggest surprise. Bad. From an FPL perspective, nothing overly. Nothing overly. No, I need to have a proper think about that. I haven't really got time. FPL Cosmos and catch a decent punt. Can't get Wood due to hits. Yeah, it's fine. Egigbar, sorry if I butchered that, mate. Start Foden or Greenwood. That's so many times. Greenwood. Fast Air, Captain Kane for the last two. You got the wrong stream, mate. Jay Barker, who scores more points this game week? Tarkowski or Wood? Wood. Patrick Lawson, best 7.5 midfielder or below forward in. I'm not doing Champman now, Patrick. Sorry, mate. Ask someone on the Slack. You've got not long to sort your team out with that. Edwin Guan, Salah, Tarkowski and Wood for Mahrez, Aspi and Wood. Salah, Tarkowski and Wood. I mean, look, I can't really answer that, Edwin, can I? Let's be honest. Just reminded me I need to check something personally myself just quickly. Bear with me. Sorry, this is what happens when you do live TV. Or live streaming, however you want to call it. Better check my own Champman team's locked in, okay, shouldn't I? Save. Yeah, we're good. Stewie Brian, hi and James. Do you see Bournemouth Southampton to be high scoring? If so, wouldn't Greenwood Wilson be good for next two? No. I think there'll be goals in it, but no. JC, Bardsley or Long? Bardsley for me. Arif, hi James. Which transfer should be the priority? Wood for Greenwood or Tarkowski for Messina? Tarkowski for Messina. Information period high. What you think about David Silva as he played last two matches? Don't know. I think they'll just change for both games. Finn McCoy, Pulisic and Albert Salah and Ketcher for a hit. I would not be removing Aubameyang. Upside's too good personally. Anthony Chung just joined. Greenwood to Wood or Roll FT. Wood. Information period shouldn't Ketchup best choice instead of Greenwood. If I was buying one of those two players this week, I'd buy Ketchup, but then I'd be forcing Anthony Martial in. Genuine boys, don't be scared to take a -4 on some players. Very well said. Too hotty. Vardy worth keeping, mate, with them fixtures or swap out for Jesus. I'd probably get out. Hector Palmer, cheers. Joe Finney, Batter, Redmond, Armstrong, Trossard for just this week. Redmond for me. Yash Dogra, my attack is Vardy, Aubameyang and Ings. Need to get one midfielder out of Foden, KDB, Stanislas, Martial, Bruno. Who should I get out? Foden or KDB? You've made that question really long there, mate. The attack's got no relevance on the rest of it. It wouldn't sell KDB personally, mate. William Jones, hi James. Maguire and Pulisic, Tarkowski and Martial for a -4. Yep, don't mind that. Thank you, Ash. Genuine, definitely considering triple cap Stern. If he doesn't start, we're going to have a proper dilemma. William Jones, also start Foden or Greenwood. Fucking hell, that's the one I should have put up on the screen, shouldn't I? Storm Legacy, good afternoon, James. I trust you well. My captain Suchet worked out well. Just woke up, saw your live, popped in. See you later. No problems, mate. Ludwig Nielsen, hello, James. Who would you play between Saiz or Foden? Hope you're doing great. I'd probably go Saiz, actually. Andrew Martin, my Leeds United correspondent for next season. Hi, James. Thanks again for yesterday. No problem, pal. Thank you. What are your Champman transfers this week? Deadline in 13 minutes. It's now in 3 minutes. I've gone Van Nistelrooy to Viduka and rolled a transfer. Viduka captain. Tommy Tom, thanks James, love the pod. Storm Legacy got a feeling about captaining Bartlett this week in Champman. Fuck me, I wish I'd read that first. Information period, bench Antonio or Van Bissaka. Van Bissaka, I'd bench Antonio. Andrew Martin, Brentford 1-0 down at half time. Which two teams would you want to see go out with us? I'm going to try and watch the second half of that. Although I need to eat as well. Anand, good morning guys. Genuine morning. Storm Legacy, Andrew Martin, oh yeah, congrats. And is TAA to Tarkowski a good move? I don't think saying TAA is ever a good move, personally. Jay, sell Foden to buy McNeil Goodmanson. I wouldn't. Ben Kemish, bench Pulisic or Greenwood. I'd bench Pulisic. Anand says, morning to someone. Aiden J, Yo and Ketcher over VVD. Talk to me. Quality content. Much love. Less upside on VVD, but Chelsea have a massive problem defending set pieces. I would play Van Dijk. Cal, afternoon, James. Sorry if you've had this question. Bench boosting this week and need a defender for Lascelles. If you had to choose between Tarkowski and Maguire, who would you choose for this week? Tarkowski. Storm Legacy, Cap doing extra business on the graphics every week. I know he's a superstar. Actually, he doesn't have to do much on this one because it's quite set. All we actually believe it has to do is I send him the screenshot of my team, and actually I can do the rest. Because it's not in play, I can update the top captaincy picks. So, I mean, I could fuck everybody's life up right now and remove Anthony Martial and put Harry Kane as the top pick if you want me to do so. Storm Legacy, Cap doing Ian Wilson. Ings has to be biggest surprise. Yeah, actually, that's fair, Ian. Yeah. Genuine, glad that I picked up Campbell and Wesley up when they were in form. Bloody hell. Paul Meehan, biggest negative surprise is Gylfi, and it's not even close. 8 million start a year. That's absolutely, I will not agree with that. No one will come up with a better one than what Paul's just said there. Edwin, shit, James, I butchered my question. Thanks for your help every week anyways. No probs. Genuine, good shout, Paul. Rob Pick, what's your aim for your final Sky rank now, mate? I'll be honest, I haven't even looked at how much I dropped last night because I didn't have a West Ham or Watford asset. Fuck it. Let's have a look, Rob. See what my rank is. I genuinely didn't even look, which is bad. I thought, well, whatever I look at is not going to make me happy because it's not going to be fucking higher than it was the night before. My rank is 451st. I think inside the top 300 would be really good. Top 200 would be amazing. I would be disappointed, I think, if I didn't hit the top 300. I still have one transfer left. Brian Yule, Pulisic, Greenwood, Vardy, drop one. No. Not Greenwood. Pulisic. Genuine. I'm interested in doing that retro FPL. Is there an app for it? Probably. Cal, nice one. Can't wait for champ. Man, that will be in an hour. Jack C, Kevin Long or Phil Barsley. Toshi Jamie, Bench Antonio from Ketcher. Got the Gaia. Yep. Pull me in. Obviously, we want you to do that. James Kane, Captain Low. FPL Zag, Lord Linda, Maya Mug for transferring in Redmond, then benching him this week. I've just bought in McNeil and benched him, mate. Canal Day, play Aubameyang or Lacazette. Aubameyang, and Genuine gets the final question. Souček and Antonio will bully Lindelof. Boys, keep that in mind. It's not a question, it's a statement. I have to leave it now. I told you that at 1:30 p.m. I would cut the stream, so if you're asking any further questions, unfortunately, I will not cover them now because I have another stream in 1 hour. Consider this my lunch break. I'm a worker. Good luck to everybody this game week. I'm not going to be able to respond to people on Twitter either because, as I said, I'm going on next stream and that'll be from 2:30 to 5 p.m. Champ man players, your deadline has passed. Sorry if I've interfered with that, but shit happens. I wish you all good luck. Believe in your own convictions, believe in your own ideas, your captaincy choices. I'm just here for a bit of advice, but trust your own opinions. Go with your own instincts. You have to factor in things at this stage of the season that are important to you, like, is mini league important? Is overall rank important? What's your priorities to you? It's very difficult for me to answer to all of you with balance in mind. In terms of content, between now and 4:30, for those not playing Champ Man, which I think will be the majority of you, I would strongly recommend for more information looking at yesterday's podcast. It's an hour and 40 minutes. We're Playing Poker is the title of the podcast. It's Planet FPL Series 3, episode 57. We cover every team in some form. There's a very interesting discussion in the first 20 minutes or so about exactly that. Me trying to catch Suj in a mini league. So if you're trying to chase mini leagues, that you might find that a fascinating little chat at the start of that as well. Monday, we'll be back in terms of podcast. What we're going to do is we're going to review the 7 games of the weekend. So West Ham last night, is it 7 league games? No. 1, 2, 3, 4 league games. It's 6 games. The 4 league games and the 2 FA Cup semi-finals. We're going to do a little review of that on Monday. We'll probably keep it to within an hour. And we'll put a tweet out for questions, etc. if you want to do that, etc. Then we'll have a review of all the games Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday on Thursday. That's how we're going to work this game week. My Ask James stream this week, with that in mind, is highly likely to be on Tuesday as it stands, but I will communicate that to everybody. But it's highly likely to be 1 o'clock on Tuesday at the moment. In terms of the deadline stream for next week, the FPL deadline is 2 o'clock next Sunday. My intention is to do an hour and a half for you. I'd love it if you can join me early so we can stop having repetitive questions. I will do from 12:30 till 2 o'clock. I will probably stay on to around about 2:30. and give you my thoughts on all the team news as well. So it's likely that next week we'll do 12:30 to 2:30, make this 2 hours, and then I'm pissing off to watch Spurs and forget about FPL. Anyway, good luck to all of you this game week. Be safe, be nice to each other. Hope your arrows are green. Ciao for now, everyone.